Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome to another Yukon Bob video. Good to see you again. You can probably guess what's in that box right there. Been talking about this for the last couple of episodes on the Yukon Bob channel. We have got the Riva Sponsons have arrived from the United States, finally. The Sponsons and the mounting brackets that put them on the Seadoo. Been waiting for those for probably over a month now. They're backlogged like a lot of other things, so it took well over a month to get them here. And I had to sit around this week for 3 days waiting for UPS. I had, you know, that delivery window, the 4-hour window where you sit at home waiting, and then as the 4 hours goes by, I get a notification, oh, it's going to be the next day that we're going to be delivering, not today. So the next day you sit around for another 4 hours. Oh, it's going to be the next day, not today. Thanks, UPS. Finally, on the third day, the Sponsons arrived, but I've got them here now. And this is a job you can do it at home if you've got these Sponsons. If you want, you can install them at home. You'll need a torque wrench and some basic tools, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to take them out to a friend of mine, Ryan Dolly, at GTX Performance. They're a company that does a lot of work on Seadoos and personal watercraft of all kinds. And I thought I'd have them put on professionally in the garage at their shop, and we could take a look at it together as they install them on my 2022 GTX 300 Limited, and we'll then get out on the water later on and test them on the water, and I'll give you my sort of review as to how they have changed the handling of the Seadoo on the water. So let's jump in the truck. Let's head out to Ryan Dolly at GTX, and let's do that now. Oh, just while I'm on my way to Ryan's to GTX, should mention to you as well that we're also going to be installing this little baby. This is the catch can that's going to go on. This is the thing that's supposed to catch all the oil vapors coming off the crankcase. Anyway, I'll let Ryan tell you more about that once we get up to GTX. So on our way, and we should be there shortly. Let's go see if we can find Mr. Dolly. Always like that lime green kind of color. That's kind of a neat color. Very cool. And here's the shop. And there's nobody here. Maybe it's one of those shops where you just walk in, grab the tools, and do the work yourself. Look at these engines here. Out of various Seadoos. All kinds of them. The blocks. Here's some hulls. Just the straight hulls. Looks like this one has been stripped right down. There's not much left in that one. Just the cavity. That looks like it's a complete rebuild. Well, that's odd. There's nobody here. They got to be around here somewhere. It is exactly noon, so could be out grabbing a bite to eat, something like that. We'll just wait a couple minutes. Well, Mr. Dolly himself has finally showed up. I walked into the shop, nobody here, but he's here now. How you doing, Ryan?
Very well, and yourself?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Bob.
Listen, it's nice to be here with you when I'm not here getting rocks dug out of an impeller and a new wear ring put on. I've done that a couple of times with you.
It's okay, that happens.
So we're here to actually improve the Seadoo this time, and what we're going to do, as I mentioned a bit earlier, is we're going to put these Sponsons on the outside of the GTX 300 Limited, and then we're going to put a catch can on. Both of those things came from Riva Performance. You're a big dealer with Riva's product, right?
Yeah, we've been dealing with Riva for a long time. Those guys are great people. They've been supporting us. We support them, and a lot of great key advantages of providing the actual Sponsons as well as the catch can to let the engine breathe and do its thing.
Let's talk about these Sponsons for just a minute before we actually start the work. Getting back to the very basics, what's the purpose of the Sponsons?
It actually helps the ski to actually turn. It's almost like it's an actual blade that's mounted on the side of the hull, as opposed to just an actual one-piece Sponson that's molded. So the nice thing about having these Sponsons is that they're super adjustable, so we can move them up or down based on the rider. If they want more grab or less grab, it's more of a comfort thing based on their needs. Okay, let's talk about the difference then between what comes with the product, with Seadoo, and what you get from Riva Performance. What's the basic difference there? Well, basically, it's a more aggressive Sponson that is fully adjustable versus one that is stationary.
Okay, so you can make adjustments to it. I think there's 5 settings on it.
I believe there's 5, yes.
Okay, and it's more rigid, more firm.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like after your first ride, I'm sure you'll appreciate why a lot of guys put the new Riva Sponsons on the ST3 hull.
Okay, I was just talking to Phil a minute ago, and he was telling me a little bit about there is some difference in the shape of these sponsons depending on whether it's a Yamaha or a Seadoo. What's that about?
That's just basically the design because it has to contour to the hull, which makes sense. So basically, Riva will sometimes make the backroom plates where the blades mount and put them at a certain location because it'll actually dictate how much nose pressure will be put on the front of that ski.
Mm-hmm.
So location is very, very important.
Okay, well, that's what we're here to do and find out more about is the sponsons, the installation of them. This is a job you could do yourself. You could do them at home. You don't need a lot of tools for this. I think you need a torque wrench is one of the things you need, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, you can use a torque wrench. Some people, by feel, like, you know what I mean? Like, it depends on how in-depth of a technician you are based on how you feel. Like, and most people don't even know how to feel a bolt, you know what I mean? So,
well, that's why I came here, because we're going to put them on professionally today and have a look at them, show you how they go on. So let's get the Seadoo in here and we'll get these sponsons on.
Absolutely.
Use the bench over here, Bob.
Okay, this is sort of the mount that the sponsons mount to. This is the part that goes on to the Seadoo, the first part, and then there's the actual sponsons here from Riva. They're all wrapped in plastic when you get them. And those are the settings right there. Those metal inserts there are the settings. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The further down you go, the more grab, the more bite you're going to get with the Seadoo. So this is kind of new to me. And I'm thinking, Phil, what do you think? I'm thinking
All the way down?
No, I'm thinking number 4. I'm thinking in the middle.
Okay.
I'm thinking in the middle. And then I can learn it, get used to that. If it becomes a problem, if it's too much, I can always move it up or down, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there you go.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
There's one. And there's the catch can there that I showed you in the car on the way here. We'll put that on afterwards. These things are kind of expensive. They're not that cheap, are they? You know, by the time I was done here with the catch can, just for information, and the sponsons, you convert the US dollars into Canadian, you pay for the shipping.
Unfortunately, yes.
Close to $1,000. And that HST, GST,
yep.
At least I didn't have to pay duty when they came, because that's always in the unknown. Are they going to charge me for duty?
100%.
Are they not going to charge me for duty?
100%.
I believe they're made in the US, and under the free trade agreement, we shouldn't be being charged for duty if they're made in North America.
That's right.
But I've had stuff that was, and what are you going to do? It's at your door.
You got to pay for it.
You got to pay.
You want your product, you got to pay for it.
But I did not have to pay duty on this. So just to give you an idea, it's about $1,000 for the catch can, Canadian that is, a little over $1,000. And you can either order it from Riva or you can buy it from your dealership as well. You sell this stuff too.
Yes, we have them all in stock. We have catch cans and we also have the sponsons for the ST3 owns.
Do you have this stuff in stock?
Yes, I do.
Because I had to wait over a month and a half almost to get this in from the US, but I could have come here and got it right directly.
100%, yes.
That I did not know, so there you go. All right, Phil, let's go. So there's 5 of those bolts that we've got to take out.
On the stock sponsons, it's actually 4.
Oh, there's 4 on the stock.
Yeah, so luckily they weren't here too crazy. So it came off pretty nice.
That's that. They come off real quick, real easy. What is that, a little washer?
Yeah, no, it's just the silicone that's left over
the silicone,
from the original
okay.
install. So I just take a little blade and just kind of clean it off a little bit. I don't have to go too crazy or anything like that, but...
Hey, don't scratch that GTX.
Yeah, don't worry. So I believe these fit...
The RXPX 300 as well.
Yeah, they fit the RXPX 300 and the ST3 hulls.
Okay.
So any of your ST3 hull models can take these sponsons. So first I'll just throw a little bit of silicone on there.
Okay.
The 5910, the good stuff.
Just around each of the holes?
Yeah, just to make sure no water gets in or out of them.
Yeah, because that's a direct hole right through the hull, isn't it?
That is. There is an insert glued in from the backside, so they usually do a pretty good job of keeping them keeping water out of the boat. But you know, better safe than sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, a little ounce of prevention now cause some less grief later on.
Absolutely.
It's nice that the stuff you're putting around there too is color matched to the color of the Seadoo.
That's why we got it for you, Bob. So generally, I really like starting these guys by hand. because if you put a gun on these and you just blast them in, it's pretty easy to get them in.
Over tighten.
Over tighten, cross thread them. There's a bunch of different scenarios.
A helping hand is always nice.
To the limit there, we're at about 10 foot-pounds. Keep going. Perfect. So we hit about just about 12 foot-pounds there. So
Okay.
I'm going to start going through all of them first, and then we'll finish it up after. So next we're going to throw the blade on. And it's basically the same procedure as the backing plate. There's a film on both sides, so make sure you peel the film off the back side before you install it.
Yeah.
Because if you forget, it's just kind of a pain to get it off after. So.
Right, okay.
So we'll start with the blade, and you said you want them in the middle, right?
Is that what you think? I mean, that's what the people have recommended to me. But.
Yeah, and it's a good starting point.
All
it
right.
really is. You're right in the middle. You know, you could go either way after that.
I don't know, Bob. I should
You would say that.
man.
I think let's go with the middle. Let's start with that. I can always move those down a little bit. Do you think it'll be much different with it in the middle from what I'm used to with the Seadoo? I'll still notice that. Yeah, okay. Let's start with that.
You got a tool?
No, grab me one, please.
So basically we have, when the Sponson mounts to the side of the hull,
Yep.
this is the actual grabbing force of the Sponson.
Yeah.
So very, very little. So it got like, what's that, like half an inch to an inch of grabbing force.
Yep.
Where you actually come to the side of the hull of the Sponson as Phil's just finishing up torquing, you can actually see how much of the actual Sponson grabs here all the way to the front.
Yeah, that is quite a bit more, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So now you can imagine that you can see how the Sponson actually tapers from back to front, and then when you start moving it up and down, you have more grabbing force in the front of the Sponson towards the back, which actually makes the hull dive forward.
And of course, if you drop it down, you'd get even more of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not doing a lot of tight turns generally out there. I'm a touring kind of guy, so I'm kind of moving around, turning relatively slowly. It will be nice to have something that tracks a little better in the wake behind another boat in front of me, that sort of thing. But we'll put it in the middle. We'll start there, and we'll go see how that is. Okay, so that's the last one on the, what do we call this outer part?
For the blade.
On the blade.
Yeah, so
They're all torqued?
Yeah, they're all torqued down. Everything looks really nice. I'm pretty happy with it. All we got to do is really
take the film off.
My favorite part.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is always the fun part when you unwrap something new, taking this stuff off.
Perfect. Cool.
So that's it. Those are the sponsons. They're on, and we're not going to show you the other side because it's exactly the same process as this. The sponsons are on. It doesn't take all that long to do. You just need to have a little bit of Loctite. You need to have the torque wrench to get the right settings, and you can do this, or you can bring it into GTX, and they can do this very quickly for you as well. So that's that. Now we're going to put on the catch can. Okay, so that's the catch can there. Just describe that thing for me.
So basically it's a canister that basically does exactly what it stated. It's a catch can. So you can actually got a bottom swivel to locate the drain tube wherever direction you need it to be based on the location of your battery, or easier way to actually this locates beside the battery, but some certain skis will not have batteries in the way, so you can actually point it in certain directions.
Oh, I see. It turns. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you can put it in the direction you need it to be. We also have the inlet tube where the hose that Riva supplies that comes off the tops valve. And then if you notice on the inside of it, Riva actually started this a few years ago, stuffing them with foam to stop to hold some of the residual oil coming out of the catch can.
Okay, and the whole idea of the what do you call that?
Filter?
The filter on top.
It's just more of a breather. It's got to breathe. The engine's got to breathe, right? So basically, that top of the tops valve, that's a breathing system. So basically, it either gets recirculated back to the stock intake form, or it gets pushed into this and
goes from there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the bracket that we're now going to
this is a bracket
bolt onto the side of the engine.
Yeah, absolutely, and it can be a little tricky, but
yeah, it's going to be hard to see this because it's down underneath. You got to almost do it by feel, right?
Yeah, the bottom bolt is definitely one that gets done by feel, and you have to kind of make sure you don't drop anything because these Seadoos have mysterious black holes for hardware at the bottom of them.
I have a washer floating around somewhere in my other machine.
You'd be amazed how many tools I've found in the bottom of these things. So we got that one started. Here we go.
This is the hard one?
This is the hard one. So, but if you're patient and you have good technique and you've done a bunch of them,
if you've done a bunch of them, that's always the key.
And generally, we'll point the valve parallel with the battery. That way, you can still get to the valve.
Get your hand in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So 2 bolts.
I got to admit, the thing that was most confusing to me was which hose goes to it.
That's what we're here for. So.
Okay, so there's 2 screws that go into the bracket.
Yep.
That's mounted to the side of the engine block.
Yeah, two 11 mils. They have lock washers on them, but I still slap a little blue Loctite on them.
Okay.
Just to make sure they don't go anywhere. Now these are more of a feel thing. There's no real torque for these. So
and I guess just check them occasionally to make sure it's not getting loose on you, rattling loose.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you do any kind of modifications to anything, it's a good idea to periodically just check on everything, make sure everything's still tight. You know, basically most of the boat is, I would say, that kind of stuff, because you've got hose clamps everywhere. Yeah,
and I haven't had this deck off yet, so let's take a look at some of these hose clamps, make sure they're tight.
Well, generally when we're doing the first oil change on the boats, we know they're new, so I'll usually go through all the hose clamps in the back here, your charge pipes, and just make sure everything that's supposed to be there is there, and everything's snug still. So, so those are tight. So this is an assembly, is ready to go. So next we have to run the hose to the breather right here.
And that you've got off already, right?
Yeah, that I took off earlier.
So that's right back here. This is the hose off the breather here.
Yeah, so this hose actually goes like this.
Oh, down so it runs back down there.
Yeah, so that you can see when the oil spits through, it makes its way right in front of the charger, and the charger will inhale it and it'll push it to the coolant. So we get rid of this and we actually cap this off. There's a
plastic cap that comes from Riva. Right.
So I'm going to recut this.
Get your length cut to where you need it.
Well, whenever they cut it, they didn't cut it super straight, so I try to make it look.
Oh, is it cut to length already though?
No. No,
because each machine is a bit different, I guess.
Yeah, and the way you run them, you want to make sure that the hose is set up nicely, that it's not going to kink or anything like that over time. Because I have seen that too. Like some guys will run it super long, like this, but then you put this aggressive bend in it, and you can see it's already starting to kink. So I try to set it up a little bit different so that we don't have these issues in the long run. But again, it's something you're gonna periodically have to check on. You know? Right. So we'll go ahead and cut this here.
So nice straight cut.
Perfect.
And then you use the hose clamps that came with the existing hose, right? Or do you put different ones on?
No.
The original ones that are with the bypass hose from the top side.
So I like to just check it, make sure everything looks presentable. It all looks nice. It takes a nice bend and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and put the hose clamps on, and we'll just have to cap this off, and that's basically it for your catch can.
And there's the cap. That's where the other hose came off, and that's where you're going to put the cap right on down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just zip ties on. Most people will get nervous because this actually spins in there a little bit, so they might not think the cap is tight, but it's just this little plastic fitting in here spinning.
Is there any pressure on that cap at all?
No.
Not really?
No, because it's inhaling air, so it's under vacuum. So you're generally okay. It doesn't need to be crazy tight or anything, but, you know.
Yeah, okay. So that's it. We're all done, folks. We've got the Sponsons on both sides. We've done an oil change on it, and we've also got the catch can installed inside to catch all those oil vapors. GTX, you guys have been fantastic. Thanks very much, Ryan. Thanks very much, Phil. Appreciate it a lot. Yeah. And we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks for visiting.
Thanks, Bob.
Here's a look in the water at those new Sponsons on there that we put on just a couple of days ago. And they're in the middle setting, as I said before, but I am noticing a fairly big difference with how this thing handles, turns, its preciseness in turning. I really like those Sponsons. I should have put them on a long time ago. They really do help control the Seadoo, especially running down that river, the Magnetawan River. They're just great for cranking back and forth around all the corners. There's no sliding with them at all. They just kind of grab and bite. I think I could have even gone maybe one setting lower in the water. But this is where I'm starting. I'll probably leave it like this for this season. Maybe next season I'll drop them down one more. Wow. That is an amazing difference with those sponsons on there. They just grab. And those sponsons are only set in the middle setting. They have 2 more notches that they could go down further into the water. I don't know if I'll be moving them. I think that's good in the middle for me. They're just so much more intuitive when it comes to steering. You got to hang on a bit. So it's a little hard for me to hang on to the camera and demonstrate it to you with the camera in my hand and hanging on to the steering wheel or the handlebars. But yeah, they really bite. They grab. They're quick. And you know, it's not over. I was kind of apprehensive about it, thinking I could get thrown off. Well, you have to watch it if you really crank it, because it's a lot of G-forces. It's pulling you pretty strongly to the right or to the left. But if you keep your knees kind of locked in and hang on, it's pretty good. I'm really pleased with it. I think that's a good investment to buy those Sponsons. They're way better than the ones that come with the Seadoo, and they just bite a lot more, give you a lot more control on the water when you're turning right or left. What I haven't done yet is to try it tracking behind another boat in the wake, just to see on when you're going straight how it tracks that way. But so far, I am impressed with those Sponsons. You can't see them, they're down under the water line. But the Riva racing Sponsons for the GTX, I'd recommend them. They're pricey, you know, almost 560, 70 US dollars, and then I had to pay shipping on top of that. But I don't know, I think they're worth it, and they just give you a lot more control on the water. Even at slow speed, they seem to help in the turns. Got to thank a couple of the subscribers who had recommended those Sponsons to me in the comments. Al Hitch over in Ireland. He rides the big Atlantic Ocean over there off the coast of Ireland. He said they're great and recommended that I get them as well. And then there was Don West, who's down in Rhode Island. He follows the channel as well. He said, Bob, put them on. I got them in the middle setting. Try it out there. You can always lower them if you want later on, but I don't know. So far, I think the middle setting's pretty good. I won't be moving them for a while anyway, not probably for the rest of this summer. Maybe next summer I'll move them down a notch, but thanks to Al and to Don for just giving me a heads up on those Sponsons, and I'm passing that along to you guys now too. Well, that's it, guys. Just before I do leave you, though, I just want to make clear that there is a little disclaimer I want to let you know about. Riva Performance Racing did give me a $150 discount on the Sponsons and the catch can out of a $1,000 bill, something like that. So they gave me a little discount. I told them I was going to do a review of their product on the Yukon Bob channel. And I have, the discount has in no way affected the review or what I thought of their product. I do like them. They are good. I wish I had put them on a little earlier. I will update you in about a month's time, 3 weeks from now maybe, on the catch can. It's going to take a little while to see just how much oil that thing does catch after maybe a month's use. We'll let you know about that a little later on. Thanks once again to all the folks over at GTX as well. They were terrific in installing the Sponsons and the catch can. I hope you guys learned something throughout that process. It's something you can do yourself, but if you'd like them to do it for you and you live in the Ontario area, give them a call. They'd be happy to help you out. GTX Performance. We will see you guys next time out on the water on another Yukon Bob video. Till then, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.